This is the Eerie Cast back again with a new video with my co-host Gusty,
Yeah. Welcome back.
and we're gonna react to the five most believed Apollo 11 landing conspiracies. So I'm excited for this because I'm obsessed with like rockets and you know NASA and stuff like that. So let's get this video going.
All right. The moon is made of cheese.
That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. That's probably one of the most famous words ever spoken. It's what Neil Armstrong said when he first stepped on the moon. But ever since the event, millions of theorists believe the mission didn't even happen and was faked by America in order to beat Russia in the space race. Some say it was filmed in a Hollywood studio, and others say it was staged deep inside Area 51. But here are 5 things many people to this day say prove the moon landing was a complete hoax. The American flag movement. The fact that the flag placed by Neil Armstrong was flapping, as if there was a wind breeze, has led millions of people to claim the entire thing was staged. You see, the only reason we have wind on Earth is due to air, but since there is no air in space, wind cannot be created. There is, however, solar wind that is produced by a stream of plasma released from the upper atmosphere of the Sun, but that would not have affected the flag on the moon, so why was the flag moving if there was zero wind? From a conspiracy point of view, the reason it was flapping is because it was staged. But from a believer's point of view, the flag's movement is because the astronaut just placed it there, and the vibration from when they let go kept it moving. NASA have also come forward and claimed that the flag was stored in a thin tube, and the rippled effect was caused by it being unfurled before being planted. And since there is no resistance on the moon, the flag just weightlessly flapped until the kinetic energy had died off, as opposed to gravity slowing it down like it would have done on Earth.
Pause it.
Very clear.
It blows my mind that um we haven't been back. You know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on? Like, if you guys, let's say they're saying it's fake, right? Go back again, prove all these people that you know what I mean, like that we've been to the moon at least.
Well, it's funny because they're
Like,
like, whatever, 1960s, like, oh, it was so expensive to go. It was like $1 billion. And it's like, now it's like, man, $1 billion is nothing. Like, if we can't go to the moon now on $1 billion, like, what the heck? Yeah, I mean, that's why
it's
there's
like
so many
yeah,
conspiracy theories behind it, It's like, oh, yeah, no, we can't go anymore. And there was that guy that, like, the Apollo missions, they like lost all the telemetry data and they lost all the information.
yeah.
So it's like, wait, so now we can't
So,
go back to the moon because you guys lost that information? Like that doesn't make any sense.
but you know what's weird that a lot of people lose a lot of stuff back in that time. Just data. There was no cloud. There was nothing you could back up.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'm
So
sure they're storing on these gigantic like
because
machines.
I know this is not related to what I'm gonna say next, but a lot of these like gaming developers that made games in the 80s, I found out a lot of them don't even have like their coding like to remaster these games. From what I've heard, it's like, what the hell? Like, there was no cloud, there was nothing. So if you lose something, you're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
So, but this is just in general. What I'm saying is like a lot of these companies just, I guess, they lose their data.
Yeah, but this
Just
is like a
doesn't make
massive government agency, though. You would think they'd have redundancies on redundancies and stuff like that. I mean, when they came
yeah.
out and said like, "Oh no, yeah, we lost everything, and so now we can't go back to the moon," it's like, well, how'd you get to the moon in the damn first place?
Because they went in 67, right, or something like that originally.
I think
What year
Apollo
was it?
11 was, God, I'm a bad American. 69?
Okay, so back then, it was not even Windows, right? Back then, it was just like some basic computer. I'm assuming at that time,
Windows?
right? There was no Windows at the time, right? It was just what I know there was computers, but what was it like? Do you remember what? I wonder what was like the OS system back in that time.
I mean, there really wasn't like a computer system. It was just like the.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's why a lot of shit gets lost. Like, there's nothing.
I mean, it
Let's say
still
like
has the
let's just say
ability to
you have a
record data though.
uh
So
because let's say it blows up the computer. Like, how will they even recover that,
I
right?
don't
Or is
know.
there a way to recover?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know about recovery. I mean, there's definitely a way to record data, but I don't know about like recovering data.
but it's weird. I don't know. I just it's weird. Like, I see like NASA sending those what do you call those cameras that capture video or whatever from Mars?
Right, yeah. Like the talking about like the little drones and stuff or
Yeah, why don't they send a drone to the moon where that flag supposedly is at, or is it just gone? Like, you know what I mean? Like, try to, uh,
yeah, and then it's weird that, Elon Musk doesn't even give a shit about the moon. He just wants to go straight to Mars.
yeah, like
Maybe
what?
maybe people are right. Maybe the conspiracy that we're not allowed to go to the moon because the moon is some kind of weird alien craft or something. Maybe that's more real than anybody thinks.
It's crazy. Like a couple days ago, he had an interview, Elon,
Uh-huh.
and they asked him when are they gonna have people in Mars, and he said that he is like sure that by 2029, he said there's gonna be people shipped over there already,
Yeah, he's trying to get back home.
and that's crazy. Do you think that's possible though? Already by 2029,
I mean,
by what, 4 years from now? What?
I
That's
think so.
crazy.
I think we have the
Okay.
technology and all that stuff to do it. I think really it just
And he
came
also
down to like the monies and all that.
they asked him too about like when do you think we're gonna have like like people, and he said like maybe by 2030. He said like we're talking about a couple thousands of people there.
Oh, like an actual like colony or something like that.
Yeah, but when I mean 30, I mean I'm talking about 30 years from now. So that's like what, almost 2040, I would say, almost, I would say, yeah,
2050 something.
47, 48, 49, yeah. But anyways, continue with the video.
All
I don't know. When I look at this, it pisses me off that we still haven't gone back.
right. I know, right?
Like, it's fucking dumb.
Because because I told you about that show, right? The For All Mankind, where it's like
Yeah,
alternate
yeah, very good.
world
Yeah, it's very
and
good.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
a
it's
good
like
video.
we just never stopped going to the moon. We never stopped going, and we got to Mars and all that. And it's like, oh, by the year 2015, we were on Mars. It's like, dang, man, like it's like what could have been, what should have been, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
funny because I think the show blames the collapse of the USSR for us not continuing the space race.
What I find interesting though is why hasn't Russia been to the moon? How come they haven't put a flag up there or something?
I want to say
They're
they've
always
have
fucking.
since then.
Because I'm like, they're so obsessed with space too. Like, what are they doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they always talk about like, oh yeah, look, because like their main spot is Star City, and it's weird because some
Right.
people are like, oh yeah, Star City's doing this, Star City's doing that, but then people took like, oh, are you sure that's what Star City's doing? Because they took pictures of Star City and it looks like it's just like demolished, like it's run down, like nobody's there. Really weird.
But right now we have a space station, right? Or no?
We have the ISS, International Space Station, yeah.
But nobody's there, right?
Well, they just got those two astronauts back from it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where they've
Interesting.
been for the last 8, 9 months.
Yeah, okay. Hmm.
And then all they do is just like experiments and stuff on there. Really,
Yeah, you have. Yeah, yeah.
be cool if we had like a city in space.
Yeah, that would be amazing. It's like I look at all these games and movies; they're so advanced, and we're still so behind. In real life.
I know. Ugh,
Footprints in the moon's
now you're
surface.
making me upset.
Gravity and moisture all help preserve things like footprints here on Earth, but since the moon has nearly zero gravity and a very low moisture content, then how did the footprints leave such a sharp imprint? Theorists believe the landing must have been staged, as there is no scientific way it would be visible, but many experts say that the fact the moon is so dry would have been the very reason for the visual footprints. They say the moon has a flour-like surface of dry lunar dust that would help leave an imprint, and since there is no
Interesting.
wind on the moon, the dust would just be left unsettled. This one does sound a little bit iffy, but of course there is no way of knowing for sure what to believe.
I'll be honest with you. If I
No
was like an
stars.
astronaut and I was
How come there are
stepping
no
like
visible
in a
stars in the
planet,
background? If you were on the
Right.
moon, there would be...
I think I would just trip out. Like I'd just be looking around, like just like be tripping out. You know what I mean? Like what the heck? Like when you look at something new and you're just amazed.
Yeah,
I would just be tripping out. Like
yeah. I've always noticed about like the moon dust stuff. It's like, okay, look, back here, yeah, it looks really dry, but then forward
yeah,
up here, it looks wet and muddy. I don't know if that's just like,
Something.
okay, yeah, they, whatever, it's been disturbed, but I mean, it could just be it. Like,
Um.
it's been disturbed, it's been kicked around, so maybe it's like this is more like sun bleached where this isn't, but still, it's like this does look
Um.
muddy and this does look all dry back here. It's really weird.
Another thing I never understood about this picture. Where's the light coming from? From the sun? Or
Oh God, don't start. Yeah, it should be coming from the sun. But yeah, the people are like,
huh?
how come this shadow's going this
They're
way
getting burnt.
and this shadow's
No,
going
no.
the
The
other
reason
way?
the reason is because how far is the sun from the moon? That's what I wonder. Like, because it seems like it's freaking like look at the light. Like
Well, I mean,
it's so
the
damn.
moon I think faces the sun longer than we do. God, man, I should have like
Oh,
done my research for putting this video on.
right. Yeah. I also wonder like how long does it take like one day in the moon? That's what I wonder. Like a whole cycle. Like how we have 24 hours here. I wonder what's on the moon.
I don't know. They have a very specific dark side of the moon, so I don't think the moon rotates.
Oh, okay. Okay.
In fact, I think it's tidal locked. I don't think it moves at all. So there's always going to
What
be a
the
dark side
hell?
and there's always going to be a sunny side.
Huh.
And then
Interesting.
I think like sunset on the moon is when the Earth eclipses the sun and darkens the moon.
Oh. Yeah, I always
Yeah,
wondered that. I was like, huh.
my brain's starting to kick in now.
Yeah, all right, let's go. Continue. Let's go.
All
Let's go.
right.
No way of knowing for sure what to believe.
I don't know what to believe.
No stars. How come there are no visible stars in the background? If you were on the moon, there would be no clouds present, so surely stars would be highly visible.
No
So this must be
clouds.
a black backdrop. This is a question asked frequently by theorists. If Apollo 11 was a hoax, this certainly wouldn't be the piece of evidence to prove it, as unfortunately this does have a scientific explanation, and here's how. The moon landing took place during the lunar mornings, meaning the sun would have been shining brightly, and the sunlight bouncing off the moon's surface into the camera lens would have washed out any light coming from the distance, especially tiny stars. NASA say when you're on the moon, you have to block the landscape from your vision to see any notable stars. It is the same concept as the stars not being as visible in a big city as opposed to the countryside.
Right.
It's because the light from the city is washing out the stars. So this one can be ruled out, but if there were stars visible in the moon landing photos, then this would have been
I mean,
much
it's
more of
funny the argument. You could just say the same thing when the sun's out on Earth and you look up at the sky, you don't see any stars either.
Yeah, yeah.
I like
Yeah,
how his
so it's kind of
explanation
like,
is like, oh, it's like when it's dark out, it's like, the city lights.
a reason to doubt the
yeah.
mission. Neil Armstrong was in on it all. Neil Armstrong, who sadly died in 2012 at age 82, gave very few interviews after his 1969 moon landing, and the fact that Neil seemed to avoid talk about the moon landing caused theorists to conclude he was of course lying and finding it hard to keep the truth from the public eye. This mainly arose after his interviews were examined and showed what people say clear signs of lying, and he seems very uncomfortable when asked questions about the Apollo mission.
Huh.
That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. When asked about that quote, he said he hadn't planned it, and it just came out after he touched down on the moon. But not so long after his death, his brother announced that it wasn't entirely off the bat, and that Neil had pitched in the line before he left for the mission. Does this prove the moon landing was a hoax? Of course not, but it would be good to know why Neil did lie to the public about the famous words. Here is a fun fact about Neil. In May 2005, Armstrong became involved in a bizarre legal battle with his long friend and barber of 20 years, Mark Sizemore.
Barber.
After cutting Armstrong's hair, Sizemore sold some of it to a collector for $3,000
Oh,
without Armstrong's knowledge or
wow.
permission.
Gross. That's fucking
Process.
gross.
Wow.
The theory? In several NASA photos, it's apparent that crosshair markings from the camera lens are imprinted behind some objects, a result from editing and tampering with the images by adding objects into the staged photographs. From a conspiracy point of view, pictures were taken of the fake moon landing, which included the crosshairs from the camera. Several objects, like the moon buggy you can see here, were then photoshopped in after to create a more realistic image, hence the reason
Yeah.
the objects are in front of the crosshairs. It sounds somewhat believable, but there is also a very good reason this could have happened that cannot be overlooked. The reason is due to overexposure, meaning anything would be blurred out and unseen. It's a similar concept to the stars not being visible like I said in Theory 3. Here is an example of an overexposed image. You can see the crosshairs are visible in all areas apart from the overexposed bright white star. But again, there
Oh.
are arguments on both sides. But the biggest question is though, do you think America put the first man on the moon? Thanks for watching, see you in the next video, and feel free to subscribe for new videos every
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
know, man. This has been going on forever, you know.
I know. And I mean,
Um,
the argument is, did we fake
personally,
the moon landing to destroy the Russians? I mean, we did destroy the Russians. Did we get to the moon? I think we did. If we didn't
yeah,
do it with
same thing.
Apollo
I felt
11, we did it with the rest of the Apollo mission, except for 13. We watched that movie.
what I find interesting is that only the Apollo rockets have been to space, right? Not the redesigned space, like the one I have right here, like the
The-
statues, not right.
yeah, like the space
The space
shuttles, the
shuttle,
Columbia and
like
Endeavor and all
yeah,
that
in
stuff like
Colombia,
that.
yeah, those never had those type of missions, huh? It was just
No, they've never been anywhere close to the moon. They just do
that's so
payload
dumb.
service pretty much to
Yeah,
they
yeah.
fix
Mm-hmm.
satellites, they fix uh the ISS and stuff like that. Which
Yeah,
is
it's
weird because
crazy.
it makes
Yeah,
you
I
wonder
always
who's servicing the satellites now. Like I don't know if there's anybody going up there anymore. The shuttle program's been shut down.
yeah, since 2011. Yeah.
Yeah, the only things that are going up are
But,
the Dragon rockets, right, from Elon Musk.
mm-hmm. Right, right. And what is he doing? Do you know? Like, what is his missions to? What is his purpose of that?
He's
I
just been
wonder.
doing stuff for the. He's been launching his own Skylink satellites, and then he's also been
Oh
helping
yeah,
out
yeah,
NASA
yeah.
with like a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
he,
but
he
we
went and
definitely need
got
to get to
those
Mars.
astronauts.
I think I think that's gonna be hopefully in my time we can see someone on Mars. Um, I would want to watch that.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think it'd be incredible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I do
But
think
yeah,
it's
I
weird
mean,
though that you know, because like there was something I remember reading a long time ago where they were saying like, yeah, we can get to Mars really easily, but we'd have to build a spacecraft in space because you build a spacecraft on Earth and then you launch it from Earth. It has to be able to do
mm-hmm.
certain things. It has to be able to escape our atmosphere. It has to be able to like get away from our gravity of Earth and stuff like that. But if you build a
Mm-hmm.
spacecraft on the moon, you're not battling as much um, issues and environments and gravity and things like that. So you
Yeah,
could
yeah,
build a better ship technically on the moon.
yeah.
But then
Right.
again, that's a whole logistics thing and money, and you have to build a base and you have to build a factory of some sort, and or just building a spaceship in space, like like whatever, like attaching a auto zone to the ISS or something like that. Like
Yeah,
and then you could
yeah. That's weird.
yeah, because then you could experiment more, better, easier with propulsions and things like that, and you wouldn't be using up most of your fuel just getting off of the surface of the Earth.
Hmm.
So
Do you
I
remember
don't know.
when
I'm just
do
saying
you
we're just
remember
skipping a
when the
big step.
Challenger do you remember when the Challenger blew up in 86, or you were too small?
Um,
Because
I
for
remember
some reason I have like
hearing about it, but I
I
think I was
remember
too
like
small.
hearing about it too. I remember also hearing it when I was in school. Because it was a big deal. Remember, it was a teacher, and I think that's why all the schools were like, "Oh, look, there's a teacher going to space." So they
Yeah,
were. That's what I remember as a kid, but I don't remember anything else really.
yeah. I just remember it exploded and it was like a horrible thing. But then I think I didn't know what it was all about until I got older.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even look into that as a kid.
Right,
I
exactly.
was surprised. I was even surprised the one that happened in 2003. That one I didn't even know that about that either. And I was in college at that time. The Columbus when they were coming back,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That one was a big deal. Yeah.
and yeah, and then we're like, what the? And I was in college at the time, but I don't know. I didn't even know about that till years later.
I actually had a buddy, because what they figured out was one of the O rings or something screwed up, and that's what supposedly why the Columbus crashed. I'm not,
It
I'm
blew
not,
up.
I'm
Yeah.
not 100% sure, really, but supposedly it was something to do with some kind of an O ring. And my buddy at the
Mm-hmm.
time worked at this factory that supplied O rings to NASA, and
Oh
so
wow.
when he said when it happened, they were scrambling to try to figure out if that was one of their O rings or not. And in the
Wow,
end, it
was he
turned out
getting
it
paid
wasn't.
good? Was he getting paid? Because that's a good job.
I think so. He didn't stick
Yeah,
around
that's
very
a good
long,
job.
but yeah, he it was a good job for him. Yeah, he enjoyed it. It was really weird. He would tell us about all the weird stuff that happens every day, but he but yeah, it was like a O-ring factory, and they made stuff for NASA and all this other, whatever, for the government and stuff like that. And so they were scrambling trying to figure out if that was one of their O-rings. And so he was at
Yeah,
work
because
for
then,
almost like 24 hours trying to figure it out. And it turned out it wasn't one of their O-rings, so it was good.
oh, interesting. There's like a space area right here in Pasadena. I forgot what it's called, but there's like a space thing here around here.
The Jet Propulsion
Uh,
Laboratory.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
And I believe
JPL.
they were hiring the. Yeah, JPL. They were
Yeah.
hiring a couple years ago. They were, and then it was not even a lot of requirements. It was kind of it was pretty basic. It was just like basic math. I remember, and they wanted you to know some program on the computer,
Huh.
which I kind of looked at it. I don't remember what it was at the time, but I was like, huh, I never heard of it. But I don't. I was like, wow. All right, so I guess that's
And
our
I'm
reaction to our.
super tired. I think just yapping about all
Yeah,
this like space stuff and just being all pissed off that we haven't been back
for
is
sure. No, for
like
sure.
trying to
That
catch my
pisses me
breath.
off, and it just pisses me off too. Like,
This could have been us right here in space right now doing podcast and reaction videos, but no, we had to screw it up.
yeah, nah, I don't know. But yeah, but anyway, so it was a good. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Like always, like and subscribe. And anything else you want to say?
Uh, Not much. I mean, what do you think? Do you think we went to the moon? I mean, do you think Apollo 11
Um,
made it to the moon? I think that's what the
yes,
conspiracy is.
I think we did.
Okay.
I think we did.
Yeah. I
I
think
don't think it's
I
fake.
think if all the conspiracies are true, I think the conspiracies are true for only Apollo 11. I think all the rest of
Mm-hmm.
them, I think we made it to the moon.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like I think if anything, maybe Apollo 11 was faked, but I think all the other moon landings were real.
Yeah. No, I believe it. But like I said, my biggest why I also get pissed is because like why we haven't been back. You know what I mean? Like what the hell's going on? What do you guys
And
and
that's
do like?
answers for
Because I
someone who gets
remember
paid a lot more than we do. That's for sure.
I remember when the president announced it. I think Reagan back in '87. I think he said in one of his statements, like, "We're going to make these ships to explore." You know what I mean? And we haven't done any exploration. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, what's going
Yeah,
on here?
I mean, I understand it's a massive venture. You're
For sure.
throwing people into outer space, and
How
you
much
might
fuel
not.
you need?
Yeah, I mean, just the logistics by itself is crazy. But
Yeah.
one of the things that people have been saying in the last couple years is that if we can get people out there, like there's unbound resources, like there's asteroids that are just
Yeah.
solid gold, there's
Yeah.
geodes in the space that are just all massive crystals that we can use, and imagine if we could send people out there, go capture this stuff and bring it back to Earth or bring it back to, a moon base where we
Mm.
can process it or something like that.
Or maybe have maybe like some sort of robot. You know what I mean? Like to get the materials and bring them back, so we don't,
I know. We got really smart drones that
waste.
could bomb the shit out of people, but we can't send them into space to go grab us some cool shit. Like, come on now.
Yeah. Like you don't want to be losing. It's like I was telling you the other day. Like it blows my mind that the space shuttle didn't have some sort of like ejection. You know, like for in case it blows up. You know
I'm
what we're
sure it
talking
blew
about?
their
Remember?
mind too, but
It's like what the hell? Like it's like matter of fact
I mean, you have to
for
make
our
it's a
listeners,
it's a massive solid tin can. You
you're
can't be
going on this
putting
rocket.
can't be putting
There's no
doors and shit
you
on it.
can't escape. Like wish you could just go like
Push it further.
escape. Let me see farther. Like here,
Yeah,
I
push it
wish you
push
could
it
just
into the camera. You're all blurry.
uh, yeah, it's because right now it's doing that. Is it right there?
Meh. I think they get the idea.
Point being is that the thing is that there's no
That's the
like
Endeavor, by the way.
yeah there's no escape pod. You know what I mean? It's like so stupid. Like and it's funny because when I looked at videos, they're like we're working on it. Like
Huh.
that's their excuse. Yeah, they were working on it on ideas, but it just never became real,
Yeah. But yeah,
But
I guess we'll
anyways,
just
I
try to
think
end it again. Thank you again, everybody, for
yep,
joining us.
yep,
We're the Eerie Cast. Like
yep,
and subscribe, and hopefully you enjoyed
yep,
our long ass rants about the moon. Hopefully we'll get there
yeah,
back someday.
yeah,
We're just gonna
for
skip
sure.
it. We're just gonna go straight to Mars, apparently.
But anyways, yeah. All right, later, everyone.
Yep. Laters.